Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's Tuesday night. It's 10 p.m. You already know. We're in the house. Fight Club 215. I'm Paul Spencer. I got my main man, Joey Woods. Joey, how we feeling tonight, brother?
Feeling good, feeling good. Another great weekend, nothing to complain about. Back here again on a Tuesday night. That very special edition, Paul. You're
Yes.
we've
Yes.
been talking about this for a while now, so let's get
Yes.
right into
Joey,
it.
you know what? We're not going to, beat around the bush here, Joey. You know, a lot of times out there in the boxing world or any kind of sporting event, you hear that phrase, a lot of people coin it, the champ is in the house. The champ is in the house. But, Joey, we literally have the damn champ in the house tonight, Joey. We really do. Like,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's definitely a special night here. We've
yes.
been trying to get some guests to come on to our network when we started this. Me and you kind of branched out, started this network. What, we're
Mhm.
almost at our 100th show now, right?
Yeah, in
Overall
4
for the
months. In 4
network.
months, 100 shows, Joey. We're doing
Yeah, I
damn
think we
good,
started this beginning of May. We started like May 17th or something. We started this.
Mhm,
We've been trying to get people on here and stuff, and
mhm.
TreSean was nice enough to agree to
Yes.
it with us and
Mhm.
help us out and kind of grow both of our platforms. So I really appreciate that
Yeah,
tonight.
well, speaking of TreSean, let's just before we introduce him onto live video, a lot of people think he's not gonna pop on here, that we just made this factional crazy crap up, but TreSean Wiggins, man, he's the 10th ranked boxer in the WBA world welterweight division. I'm talking the same division as Crawford, Spence, same division, Joey. And there's a million boxers out there, and we have the 10th ranked boxer in the world and current NABA US welterweight champion of the world on the show. I don't think he needs an introduction, but this is what he is right here. This is his stats right here. But before we do that, let's bring on my man, the most humble man I've met in the boxing venue out there. My man, TreSean. TreSean, what is going on, brother?
Yo, what's up, my man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Thank you for having us. Basically blessing us with your presence, man.
No
Blessing
doubt,
us.
man. It's an honor. I'm excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this all week. Let's get into it, man.
Definitely, definitely. TreSean, listen, man. Give a shout out where where you originated, how you became a boxer. Well, this show is all about you, brother, and we just want to feed into you, listen to your story, man. Because sitting down with you for about an hour last week, as you were sparring, you took the time out of your busy day, and you blessed me with your presence. I want you to bless everybody out there with who TreSean Wiggins is, man.
You know what I mean? I'm from originally from Newburgh, New York, born and
Mhm.
raised. You know what I mean? But I recently, not recently, relocated down here to Johnstown. It's
Mhm.
not my second home. I've been here for a good 7 years. My kids go to school here,
Mhm.
and I made a whole lot of family here. And this is my second home, man. A home away from home. So, and that's it, man. I'm like it.
Definitely, definitely. It's funny that Joey time in anytime you want to hop in here, do whatever you want to ask TreSean a question, but a lot of people look at the 814 in Johnstown, man, and they think, wow, nothing comes out of here, man. Well, the champ is coming out of here. The champ is already on
Right,
the market.
right,
He's
right.
already hit the spot. Now we're coming for that number one spot, TreSean. Am I right or
Absolutely.
wrong?
Absolutely, man. All hard work. And one thing about me, man, I ain't ducking. I duck nobody, and I fight
Hmm.
anybody. So we coming from that spot slowly but surely. You know what I'm saying? And God
Definitely.
willing, we'll be in the ring with the best, man.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, we already got the best on the platform right here. So listen, the
Right.
sky's the limit, like I told you when I met you, man. You know, but
Absolutely.
go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. I mean, I know you see you got kids in school and stuff, and you're checking us at 10 o'clock at night on a Tuesday night. So I just want to say thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. It's an honor. Like I said, man. This is what it's about, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to be a champ inside and outside the ring too, as well, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm the people champ for real.
Exactly. It's like when we were talking about last week, TreSean, the night before I met you at the gym, Castle Gym, which you box out of,
Right,
and great owner Brock Hole out there, great guy, talking nothing but
my
respect
man.
about you. And I
Right.
remember that night at 2 o'clock in the morning, I get a text from you. Like we're chatting at 2:30 in the morning,
Mm.
Mhm.
like I know you. It's like wow,
Right.
I feel honored. Honestly, I really do.
No
Definitely.
doubt, man. No
Oh, so
doubt.
that's why you weren't texting me at night, Paul.
Yeah, I had the champ on the line. I had the champ on the line, Joey.
Yeah, 2 in the morning, and then we in the gym at 9, man. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? The grind don't stop, man. The grind don't
There's Linda.
stop.
There's Linda checking out. Get names out there. Get famous. Listen, TreSean on the house right now. He's the most famous man in Johnstown. He is the face of Johnstown. And listen,
Appreciate it.
it's just a blessing to have him on the show. It really is. But Linda, thank you for tuning into the show. We appreciate that. But
Mm.
TreSean, I mean, what made you become a boxer? I know you grew up in New York up there, and being in New York, there was a lot of gang violence and stuff like that. But why'd you
Believe
become
it,
a boxer, man?
You're not gonna believe this, man, but me and my little brother was like talking junk. Me talking junk to some kids that was out, you know what I'm saying, on the block as my bus was riding by, and I ended up getting off. We ended up having to get off at the wrong stop, and I thought we were really talking junk. So we and my brother was chased like at least a half a mile, not a half a mile. I'm gonna say like 3-4 blocks down the street, and then we hopped this fence and ran into the place that was the boxing gym, and we was hiding on the side of the ring. And my original first coach, he was trying to kick us out, and I'm like, man, I ain't going out there. So he kept telling me that he went out there and defused it or whatever, but we was not trying to come out. But then eventually we eventually come out, and when we got out there, everybody was gone, so he allowed us to come. It was an after school program, / boxing gym. So we ended up going there after school all the time, and that's how it was, man. And I never left ever since then.
So you started, was this like 12 years old? Is this where the Western shot? Wow, man. Wow. Okay.
Right. Once you get to number 1, it sounds like you got like a great plot there for a movie already. You know what I mean? You go in there and hide and kind of off from there. You know what I mean? Perfect plot.
Man, it had to been at least 20 people chasing us, man.
Hey, you learned hard from the very beginning, huh?
Right.
I bet you also knew then not to yell anything from the bus, anything going forward, right?
Get on the right stop.
Yeah. TreSean, listen, man. I know you won the NABA title. Basically early this year. Mm-hmm. What was the pinnacle of your boxing career? Was that the pinnacle right there, or do we go back to the amateur status? Where do you fill in besides the birth of your kids? And I know the marriage, that's number 1 and 2. But what is the pinnacle of your boxing career?
Well, honestly, the pinnacle, I want to say, it was winning this title, because I won titles before. As you can see, I won the PA state title. Mm-hmm. That was the first title I won. You know what I'm saying? That, which was good for me. You know what I mean? But still, I was it was in limbo. Mm-hmm. My career was in limbo, And then the other one I got, that came right after, but it's still in limbo. And I was ready to hang it up, because I'm like, all right, I'm pressed for time. Everything is short, it's short. In boxing, man, it's all about having, you know what I'm saying, you got to have that foundation early. I didn't have it early. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm like, I'm going to thug it out, give it one more shot, you know what I mean? And that's what I did. And this one, I went from being a journeyman to a rising star in this division, man. And that's self-explanatory, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that. Go ahead, Joe. Any questions?
I got a question for you. I know before we jumped on air, we were talking about weight classes and stuff like that. Right. You hear a lot about how the thing they call like weight bullies, you know what I mean? Where talking about guys walking around 180, fighting at 147. Right. What's the most during a fight after weigh-ins that you've jumped up in weight before the fight actually started?
I would say 10 to 11 pounds. 11 pounds, for honestly. You know what I'm saying? Because, when you're fighting for a major title, you have to, all right, say the weigh-in and the fight limit is at 147. You get until the next morning. You got to, the next morning they reweigh you again. Like, if another weight, you can't go over 10 pounds. So you figure at 9 o'clock in the morning, they call you down to the scale, we weigh in, and then after that, ain't no telling what people shoot up to. Like, I done been in the ring with guys who just don't even look the same. I seen them; they could barely get on a scale, stuffed up, and then now like the night of the fight, they look like 2 different people. Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Some of the transformations you see from the night before to the day of the fight. It's pretty crazy what people do to their body.
Oh my God, I don't know how. Like, scientific. That's why boxing is really science. Where it's like you don't really know how it happened, but it does, man. You know what I'm saying? Luckily for me, I can punch.
I hear that. But let's get into a couple comments with TreSean. This is Rob Hepner. He's checking in from Las Vegas out there. He's one of our hosts on our network. You can check him out every Saturday night. Trey in the house, Rob. Yep. And of course, you already know who's going to pop on next. Brock right here. Trigger Trey, the people's champ, the most trustworthy man in boxing. Brock, you're damn right, man. All the highly words you spoke. It's a blessing right here that we have him on the show, and everything you said is 100% facts right there. Joe Sullivan. That's wild how you guys change their body quickly. Yeah, exactly. TreSean and I talked about it, and TreSean, let's get into that nutrition thing you talked to me about. I know early in your career, you said you would just walk around and basically no diet at all. You just jump in the ring and box, with your heart, your gloves, But then you learned about nutrition. How did that change your life?
My whole first half of my career, you figure I started out at like 7-1 with 6 knockouts. But I was like thinking that once I had one first meal, I was like rehydrated. But I didn't know nothing about, you know, the Pedialyte and all the stuff to replenish in the body. I didn't know none of that stuff. It wasn't until I went to train out and to be sparring partner for Igis Kavalaskis, who fought Crawford, getting ready to fight Crawford. You know what I'm saying? His nutritionist was like asking me what I was taking, and I'm like, I ain't taking nothing and shit. He was like, yo, you got to take something at this level. And once he told me about it and he gave me something, he put me onto it. After that, man, that just been my whole career, whole 360, because it was like I'm competing at a high level, you know what I mean? And I didn't know nothing about none of this. I'm like, I think only way I was getting through it the first half of my career was my youth, you know what I'm saying? Being naturally strong. For real, that's just like, It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Right. Speaking of trainers, I know Brock hopped on here. Of course, he speaks the facts about you, man. You're very humble. And how has Brock changed your life here at, Castle Boxing?
Oh man, he welcomed the first day I met Brock, man. We just like instantly connected, and you know what I'm saying. We just got this mutual respect for each other, man. We always like, he got my back, I got his, man. I can count on him for anything in the world, man. He can count on me. He can do the same, you know what I'm saying. And that's my man forever, bro. I don't care how far I go, he always gonna be with me, man.
You know, when I first met you, I walked into the sparring gym there at Castle in Johnstown. And right away, you gave me, right after the round was over, you just put your hand up, which was respect. Right. You recognized me. But right after the fight, you jumped down, man, sweaty as hell, and it was just like, man, I was thinking, Trey, you were up till 2:30 that morning texting me. And you said, I'll be at the gym at 9. I got there around 10. You sat down, you were real humble, you talked to me. And then right after that, before you left, right before he was even late for his son's football game, Joey. That's how respectful he is. And then you introduced me to Brock, and Brock talked to me for a good while too.
Right.
And I tell you, it's insane, man, how impactful people have in your lives. And as we talk, it's a blessing to have someone be put in your corner for a reason, man.
You have no idea. That's the true statement right there, man. That's a true statement, because he would give me the real. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people who know who I am. I come down here, I'm already a made fighter. You know what I'm saying? They're just yes men, or just want to tell me what Brock give me the real. He don't give me what I want to hear. He give me the real, man. Seriously, he give me the real, and that's what I respected about him the most. Because he ain't gonna tell me just what any old thing or what I want to hear. He gonna keep it real, whether I like it or not. And that's the type of people you need in your life, man.
Yep, go ahead, Joe.
It's funny you mentioned about people like having yes men and stuff like that, because a lot of the time me and Paul talk about that in terms of boxing and a lot of the behind the scene politics that go on in the boxing world, where you won't see the two best fighters truly fight each other because there's always that politicking behind the scenes. It seems like you really despise that aspect of the game, where if you're not pleasing your promoters, you're not getting that marquee fight.
Right. I mean, when I was younger, when I first got into the game, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to fight the best. It wasn't until I met Danny Garcia. He's like, yo, man, you take the easiest fights for the most amount of money, because when you're done, they're on to the next best. You know what I'm saying? No, they don't really care about you. And I didn't understand that at first, because I'm like, you're here. You got this. You're at this level already. But it's the truth, man. And once I started realizing that, I started making smarter decisions. I started making smarter decisions, but at the same time, you still want to fight the fights. That's what this is about. It's about legacy, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what people want to see, the good fight. What are we fighting for if we ain't gonna fight the best?
And we already know you ain't ducking no fights out there. So hey, listen, Crawford Spence, let's go. After this battle here, give my man TreSean a shot, because my man is legit. He's ready to go. He wants to add that fourth belt up there.
Right, man. I'll fight. I've been fighting the best prospects back to back to back. I don't care, you know what I mean? And it's not just being stupid. It's just me, just like I'm going to fight. My heart is in it, you know what I mean? As long as I'm 100%, and I can beat anybody on a good day. Me at my best day, man, my IQ I got a high boxing IQ, man. And I try to explain that to people and show people that. And a lot of people in the boxing world, they don't get it. They just see my record and they automatically think that, oh yeah, this kid is. They don't understand. I done fought top guys in the toughest positions, you know what I mean? So, but that's all about to change. I'm ready to fight. I'll fight the best people, because the circle I got now and the position I'm in now, can't nobody beat me. I don't see myself losing for the next 5-6 years.
That's what we like to hear.
It seems like you got a lot better hold on just everything, before you had the skills, but you didn't have, like you said, you didn't have the nutrition, you didn't have that circle of people behind you that put you in the right direction. It seems now you have everything clicking on one cylinder, so it seems like you're headed in the right direction.
Right. And
100%.
Absolutely. And that's what I was telling my man before, is like my last 2 fights, it was the first time I ever in the ring, everything's like slowed down in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, it's slow. I'm like, is this that turning point that I needed? Like, is this that me jumping over to this elite level? Because I mean, literally slowed down in there. It felt like the Matrix. I cannot make this up. I felt like the Matrix in there.
Gotcha. Real quick before we get into the next thing, Sean, there's going to be a couple comments. Patrick Bernard, he's one of my good friends as well. You can check him out on Sports Network every Sunday at 9 a.m. on his show out there. Charles Hayward is at one of his friends. He's a boxer, so he's trying to get him to chime in because he's a boxer who loves the sport as well. Mike Laurel, you can check him out. He's a part of our network here on Thursday nights.
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Yeah. But TreSean, let me ask you this. I have a question for you, man. I was always not the athlete back in the day. Boxing wasn't my thing. It was just I didn't have the speed for it, honestly. But how do you recommend to a younger person getting into the boxing aspect?
If getting as a young fighter getting into it, I mean, hard work outwill talent any day. You could be the fastest, you could be the nicest, but if you don't work hard, I mean, you ain't in there every day, you ain't dedicated to it 100%. You can be washed up any day. So, I mean, you got to want to do it. Like, when I first started, I used to eat, sleep boxing, like 100%, just in it. And everything I did was about boxing. I didn't want to do nothing else. Like, I was an excellent baseball player when I was young, if y'all didn't know. Like, for now, I'm talking about really, really good. But it wasn't until I went into the boxing gym, I was like, I fell in love with it, man. It was nothing else for me.
Wow. What fight stands out to you the most? I know your last fight, man. It was a first round knockout. Like, I looked at this thing, TreSean. I'm like, I seen you spar. I seen the speed. I seen the footwork. But my God, what I seen in this first round knockout versus Castellan, I believe his name was.
Castellon.
How'd that make you feel, man? 'Cause I know that's when you won the title, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah. No, I was defending. That was my first
defense. That's right. Your first defense. That's right. How did that make you feel with that first round knock? And how does it feel like you go into a fight, like everybody wants to project, I'm going to knock this cat out in the first round. That's the goal. How does it feel once a fighter just knocks him out in the first round and the refs hold their hands up? How do you feel about that, man?
I mean, it was electrifying, man. I mean, but it's not like it wasn't the first time for me. So, remember my first pro debut, I won by knockout in 20 seconds. You know what I mean?
20 seconds.
Yeah. It's a public record, man. Y'all can check it up on Google, man. I'm not kidding you, man. So,
maybe that's why I couldn't fight it on YouTube, because it has to be at least 30
seconds.
It's
not there. My second fight, I knocked out Jason Sosa, the ex-world champion, in the first round, too. So, I got a lot of first-round knockouts, man. So.
I see. I was looking at it. I was like, man, my man is legit here. Like,
so it's not like, it wasn't like, that feeling wasn't nothing new to me, but it was like, I knew, because Brock was like another one of my enemies. Like, yo, listen, okay, the first thing we got to do is get this title. So I got the title. And I'm like, yo, they put me at they ain't moved me to 13 yet. I'm like, what's going on in the rankings? And he was like, they don't care. You got the title. Now we got to show them that you're not a fluke. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
you ain't winning by a good night. Because any fighter can have a good night. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So they're like, yo, we got to show them that you're not a fluke. So I said, okay, boom. And now I stopped this dude. So then now he's like, yo, now they can't deny you now. You know,
gotcha.
They know that you're the real deal.
Yep. Michael says, hey, TreSean, welcome to the Out of Box family.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
And listen, man, we don't want you to be, just a regular visitor. We want you to be on here as much as you can, because it's a boxing out there, and we want you to teach the younger generation, what it's all about out there. And we appreciate that. Of course, Stacey Baker says, hey, she's a great viewer as well. So, TreSean, listen, man, I want to ask you something real quick. As you said, your boxing career has gone a long way from basically, being 12-year-old kid being chased, into the boxing area, at the gym, to where it's at now. How do you stay so humble, man? Because I'll tell you, just meeting with you, I thought you were, you could be the janitor, honestly, the way you spoke to me and your dedication, the heart of a champion, and being so humble. How do you stay so humble, man? Being a champion of the world.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's just where I come from, you know what I'm saying? That's the way my mom taught me how to be always, you know what I'm saying?
Good.
And I come from a well-respected family, you know what I'm saying? And and that's it, man. I never think I'm better than nobody. You
I
know,
hear that.
just as much as I can gain it right now, I can lose it all tomorrow. You know.
I hear that. It's, that's like I told you, my hashtag on everything I put out there is hashtag blessed,
Right.
with the man upstairs and people in the right corner, in your situation, in the right corner, and in the household. That's what goes a long way. That keeps you going. And just like
Right.
you said, the boxing, you can have the best speed, you can have the best power, but if you don't have the mentality and the heart, and I guess that's where it comes from, heart of a champion. I guess that's why they say that.
True, and at one point I was losing it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it started becoming just a business or just a job for me, and it wasn't fun anymore. And my wife was like, listen, if it ain't fun no more, but she more or less at first was like, listen, dude, who are you to quit? This not just your dream now; it's my dream too. You know what I'm saying? She mortgaged hers for mine, so I'm like, okay, listen, I can't quit now. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, but if you're not having fun no more, then just let it go.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that. We sat there and you told me, like, listen, my wife is the foundation. You told me the story, like, you can't quit now. You can't quit. And I heard it, like, from when you said that, right there. Just told me, number one, you're a man of God. You're a man. Just like you said, the people's champ, and you fight from your heart, man. You really do, and that's what it's all about.
Absolutely, man. That's what it's about. I gotta keep pushing, man. I got people that counting on me, and I'm trying to show everybody that no matter what you start off with, don't mean you got to end up with it. You know what I mean? But you got to go get it 100%. And I do it, man. I work. I 100% focus at all times, man.
What you got, Joey?
So I just got two questions for you. Talking about losing the fun, losing your heart for it and stuff. Me and Paul talked a lot about how when that happens, sometimes your mind starts to lapse in the ring. Also, were you worried about that at all? Like worrying about not giving it your all because your heart wasn't in it anymore, and putting yourself in danger in the ring at all?
No, not really. I'm not. I wasn't worried about that. Putting myself in danger. I'm just more or less like. Cause it was like, let's say it is. I was at 300, ranked 378 at one point, and I'm like, dude, I'm so far away. There's no way in hell I'm gonna be able to, you know what I'm saying, reach where I want to be. You know what I'm saying? So how am I gonna make this work? And it's like it's draining mentally. You know what I mean? So in the ring, I'm fighting because now I have a family support still as well. So I'm like, I still got to do it, no whether I want to do it or not, because I done came this far. Whether I'm gonna make it or not, I still have to do it because I got a family support, and that sucks. But I wouldn't say that I'm worried about. You know what I'm saying, my safety in there. I was just more or less just stressed about it. I'm just doing it for a job. You know what I mean? Like getting up and go to a 9 to 5. That's just how I looked at it.
Makes sense. I'm glad my 9 to 5 isn't me getting punched in the face. So I'll leave that to you there. But second question is, when Paul originally told me that this might be in the works, I did a little research on you, and I saw you were on a Don King card. How did that come to fruition? How did that transpire?
Somebody called me with an offer with a fight on the card. You know what I'm saying, for the title, and that's how me going up to 147 originally happened. So it's like they say they got a opportunity, because naturally I was fighting at a super lightweight. They say they got an opportunity for me, and I was already saying I'm ready to hang it up, man. I'm done. I gave it my all. It just wasn't in the cards for me. And I'm like, they gave me one more opportunity. I'm like, and I'm talking to Brock once again. I'm like, yo, listen, I think I can just do this one more time, man. I want to give it my all. Just one last time. So that's what I did. He said, yo, you got to go in there, you got to focus. So I deleted all social media. I took the fight. They got me the opportunity. I took Don King. The contract was unbelievable anyway. It was more or less like, I don't really want to get too much into that, but I was like, the contract was crazy. So I'm like, but nobody wanted to take it. But I said, I'm going to have to anyway, because my back's against the wall. Why not? Let's go out with a bang. You know what I'm saying? So I give it my all. I trained nonstop, and I was a 4-1 underdog in that fight. And sure enough, and once I showcased my talent, man, they was interested. They wanted me, man.
Gotcha. Well, here's a comment we have from one of our hosts out there. Awesome knockout versus Travis. Those body shots were sick. Definitely. He did his homework. He's one of our hosts of our network as well. He does a show on Wednesday mornings all about the New York Mets baseball. And he's on the part of the Vegas show as well. So, yeah, I mean, I told everybody TreSean Wiggins, was on there. They did their homework. And You can just read our group chat. My God, he has power. He has speed. He's the next champ. The champ is in the house, man. The champ is in the house.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the love, man. I'm definitely going to tune in more often.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. I have a question for you, TreSean. Now, you said, a lot of when you deleted, social media out there, what was the number one reason for that? I mean, I understand, we understand why, but does social media play a part in your training where you hear a lot of negative comments out there like, oh, he's 14-5, he's 20-1, he ain't that good. How does that play into the mentality of yourself?
Yeah, well, what it is that, you get into social media and then as you're training, you know what I'm working for, you know my goal, but you know what the end cap of what this fight is about. And then you see other fighters that you follow, and then they're they had a different situation, they got the big deals and all that. So now you look at that and it's like, you feel what I'm saying? You get into that depressed mode because it's like, damn, I should be there. I got the skills, and if not better, it's just that his situation, he was the one. You know what I'm saying? So that I didn't want to get into that. I'm like, you know what? This is my situation here, and I want to deal with it as I see fit right now. I ain't worried about nobody else, but I don't even want to see it because if I see it, then I know how my mind can, can go astray. So I try to just tune it out. And the best way to tune it out is to tune it out for real.
Now, do you think a lot of athletes actually play into that where, they're training, of course, and I know everything in social media. It's 2022. Everybody's glued to that phone. I am too. I look at my phone constantly. Do you think that a lot of athletes play into that where they look at their phone and read the negativity that they're thinking like, wow, it's either like you said, my back's against the wall or I got to prove the world wrong. Is that a good thing or bad thing when they read negative social media about yourself?
It's a bad thing, honestly, because you know what, I used to see a lot of bad stuff in my, what I'm saying, when they used to talk all types of bad things about me. But what I said is that what I'm like, you say this and you say that, but I done blessed the best stages, MS and I want to name it MGM Grand. You know what I'm saying? I done fought on top stages. You know what I'm saying? Top cards. It ain't nothing. I don't have. Y'all can say what y'all want, but the guys who talking junk and the people that's talking the most are the ones who never step foot in the ring. And once I realized that, I stopped feeding into that. And a lot of fighters don't see that. They want to get into it because they think you know what I'm saying, they know their pride is in the way. Man, once I took my pride out of the situation, I don't let it get to me anymore.
Gotcha. Go ahead, Joey.
Yeah, I don't think the issue, what you're talking about, like with the social media, is just fighters. I mean, you see like Kevin Durant on Twitter every day going back and forth with people recklessly. I mean, this dude's a Hall of Famer, arguing with people on Twitter. Blows my mind to this day that he still does that. My question is still about social media is, do you like or dislike the fact that some of these fighters kind of speak a little more, or maybe play a different persona in social media to try to boost up their rankings compared to who they actually are as a real person?
I mean, when I initially I did have I did used to get under my skin for some reason, but now that I know, but now I'm like, it's a business thing, man. You know what I mean? The name of boxing is more or less, you got to get in there. You got a short span. Your boxing lifespan is not like someone else in the regular of the sport. You know what I'm saying? So you have to get in and make the best of it. So if that's how you feel, that you see fit, that you got to talk your way into a position, so be it. Social media is the number one platform nowadays, for everyone. So if you can get on there and talk to talk, but just know that you got to walk the walk. These guys are talking and can't walk the walk. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying?
Agree. Let me ask you something, TreSean. Now, we part of this, we're keeping a boxing show on here today, but we usually talk MMA as well. And I know Castle Boxing has some MMA out there, so you're familiar with that. But Joey and I always talk about, MMA has just become a box office draw where you want the biggest, just the two names out there. But in boxing, how does that work in boxing? I know you're ranked 10th in the world. As you said, before you were 387 and it was hard to move up. How hard is it in the rankings to move up? I mean, 10 out of a million boxers, TreSean. That's a hell of a stat that we're at now. But how do you feel about the ranking in boxing? I know there's, IBF, WBO, WBA, all these different divisions.
I mean,
how do you feel about that?
It sucks because honestly, it's like, in order to get to those positions, you gotta fight. You gotta fight certain people. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to take those fights or not. So I don't know. It's hard. That's hard to say, man. I mean, I gotta respect it. You know what I mean? It's part of the game. But it's not just me who got to go through the rank. It's the guys at the top had to do the same thing. So it's not like somebody just coming to the game and they're just putting them in front. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't see why Lomachenko will go and get a world title for his second pro fight. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of stuff. I don't agree with. But as of going through climbing up the ranks, everyone has to do it. So I don't look at it no different. You know, it's part of the game.
Gotcha.
Yep, Lopez put an end to that hype train fast.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Now, I know we're at 140. We're at the welterweight division right here, and I know we're going to stay in that division. I know you and I talk about, possibly moving up to 147.
Right.
What was the reason to stay at 140, TreSean?
No, I mean, I had a Zoom after having a real talk with my family and my team. You know what I'm saying? It's like we already, even though we got this title. Technicality, we went up there. You know what I'm saying? We went up to 147 just because it was an opportunity, and we captured it. But it's not like I haven't never had a fight at that weight class before. So it's like once I did it, and now we're stuck. I feel like we're stuck here because we didn't want to take no unnecessary chances of losing our position, trying to go down to 140 because there's a lot of top guys at 140. I mean, a lot of good fighters at 140. So if we go down, they might move us down in the rankings or strip me of a title. I won't be able to fight for a title or so I don't want to have to put myself in that position. What I'm gonna do is take advantage of the opportunity and keep proving the world wrong, man.
Hey, listen, we started out at 1 million. Now you're at number 10, brother. 10 more to go, and we can have the champ of the world on the show here,
man. And before it was just a dream, man. Now it's in arm's reach,
Well, TreSean, I know you're behind you, man. You got some hardware behind you, brother.
Oh yeah.
What we got going on up there? What's the one up there on the top shelf? What we have on the top?
All right, I got you can see I got the Pennsylvania State title. That was actually my first title I ever won as a professional. You know what I'm saying? I fought Sam Tia in Philadelphia. He was coming off his biggest win on Showtime against Kenneth Sims, another prospect, and and I was coming off a loss, so it was like I took another chance in this hometown, and I pulled off the unanimous decision. You know what I'm saying? And then the second one I fought in Atlanta, I fought Christian Dominguez, and
that was a 6-round fight. That was a 6-round.
Yeah, he's 11-2. He was pretty good.
I think he was 11-2.
Yeah, pretty good fighter. You know what I'm saying? He was tough, but he had to come up off that. You know what I mean?
And what's the bottom one, TreSean? That looks like some serious hardware right there, brother.
That's the one. That's the one. That's that number 10. You know what I'm saying? That's the NABA title. You know what I'm saying? It's heavy too. Maybe one day I'll bring it to you. Matter of fact, I'll bring it to the fight with me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we go.
Speaking of that fight, real quick, TreSean. You know what? Hey, listen, I'm a person who gives shout outs where they're needed. Right. And listen, Brock Hull, owner of Castle Gym there in Johnstown. Talk about that place real quick and what that meant to you. I know you talked about Brock, but tell the world out there what Castle Boxing is all about.
Man, Castle Boxing, man. The second you walk in, man, they all treat you like family, man. Those guys are a tight-knitted group, and they welcome anybody, man. They don't hard-working every day. Those guys, I seen him transform kids who had no way. You would never think they'll be able to box. And they got them in there competing and ready to go, man. That's a real gym, man. I love them guys down there, and I love all the work that they're doing. Anytime I come down there, they give me the best work, Castle Boxing, where is that? You in Johnstown, you in 814, man. Definitely put up the Castle Boxing, man.
Definitely, because I know they have something coming up October 8th, correct?
Right, yep. Yeah, I know, and I'm going to be over there making a guest appearance, Okay. I'm definitely going to show face there, but to support some of the local boxers. Them guys.
You know what? That's what I respect about you, TreSean. You keep it real, man. And listen, you don't forget where you came from. And Castle Boxing, where it's at. It's when I walked in, it was all family, man. Like as soon as I walked into the other part, the bigger gym where the exhibition is going to be held. And I was like, "Is TreSean here?" They're like, "Oh yeah, he's right over here." And I'm like, "Wow," But yeah,
we actually just did a back to school block party type deal. And you know what I'm saying? I came there. The kids got to dunk the champ, man, in the they throw the ball at the thing. They want everybody lined up to take shots at me, man.
Hey, listen, man. When you're the champ out there, you got a target on your back, but sometimes it's
Right.
for a good cause. You know, it definitely is, and that's
Right.
what I respect from you. Go ahead,
Right.
Joey.
Yeah, I got another 2 questions for you.
Okay.
I know you said you have kids. I have 2 kids also. Would boxing be something you push towards your kids also? You know, I know you said it gave you a lot of value and stuff as a child growing up. Would you push your kids towards boxing to kind of, even though it's not a career, like to help extend those values in them also?
Well, yeah, I always train my kids. Actually, I mean, I didn't want to get them in. I don't want them to box. Well, my oldest son was practically born under the ring. You know what I mean? So because I had him when I was young, or 17. He was in the gym with me every day. Like, so he's really good. I'll actually show y'all some videos one day. He's real good, man. But I don't really want. Once I see how hard the game is, just business wise and the shady people, I try to keep them away from it. You know what I'm saying? But if they want to do it, of course I'm gonna have their back 100%, and I'm never gonna let nobody do nothing wrong to them. But they good at football and basketball, like they were really good athletes. But my daughter,
I'm hearing she's the
I
next
might pass
Lala
the
Ali,
torch.
right? I think
Yeah, I
she's the
might
next.
pass the torch to her, man. She wants to really do it, and she ain't taking no for this.
Wow.
And then my second question was, did you have any boxers that you kind of growing up styled your game after?
Yeah, I did actually. I don't know if y'all guys know Joel Casamayor.
I never heard of him.
No, I'm not.
He's a Cuban fighter, man, Olympian actually. He was my idol growing up. Once I learned he watched the fight with him and Chico Corrales. He fought Corrales. He was one of my favorite fighters of all time, man. Like I mimic his style. Like he's a southpaw, he box slick. And you know what's crazy? He worked the corner of Christian Dominguez for the ABF. Like
Oh
I was
wow.
so starstruck. Yeah, I was like, I didn't even. I'm like, out here I am beating his fighter up, and he's like my idol over there. You know what I'm saying?
They probably heard about you being a fan and brought him in there just to kind of get you off your game a
I
little
don't know
bit.
what happened, but I was just like, whoa. So like, he's like my. That's the fighter that not a lot of people know him. You know what I'm saying? When everybody asks me, like, they automatically think Floyd or somebody.
Right.
No, it's him, man. Because he was a world champion. You know, I think a 3-time world champion, if I'm not mistaken. And he's a southpaw, slick, dirty fighter. I love him, man. I love him. I still watch him to this day. I mean, if I feel like I need to work on some stuff, like some more tricks to my trade, I'll look up some fights because he's slick, man. Check him out when y'all get the chance, man. Y'all definitely see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I will for sure. For sure. It's funny you mentioned Floyd. Dude's still going. You have any aspirations of going into that late stage of 45, and or you kind of see end goal and once you
No,
get to this
As long as
point?
the heart's there, I think TreSean will keep going.
Yeah, whatever God got in store for me, man. I don't. God, luckily for me, I don't take a lot of punishment. I haven't took a lot of punishment over the years, so I mean, I see me lasting a little long in this sport. You know what I mean?
TreSean, let me ask you, since Joey brought up Mayweather, we know he'd probably be the past pound for pound fighter in the world, for history, 50-0. But how do you feel like, ducking these fighters at the late in his career to boost that record? How do you feel about that? Because I know you're the type of person who don't duck anybody. If Crawford or Spence knocked on your door tomorrow, Don King said, "Let's do this top ring," anybody, Dizan out there, you're taking that fight without a moment's drop. But how do you feel about fighters that duck people or wait till, like Pacquiao, late in his career again to boost up that record as Mayweather? How do you feel about that?
I don't respect it. But I respect what he done in the sport. You know what I'm saying? So I have nothing bad to say about him and that aspect, but I don't respect it. I mean, but I can't speak for the next man.
I hear that.
I like because he got a lot of people doing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's become like an exhibition where you can make money do it,
But I'll be the sleeper because I'm the guy that I'm the guy that they overlook. They're the one that instead of fighting an undefeated prospect, they'll come after me because I'm the one with the, you know what I'm saying, the one that they look like they can get over on.
Hey, never doubt the underdog, right? The underdog can bark pretty loud.
I'm the worst.
Yeah, I mean, they doubted you, right? 4-1, you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even see that coming 4-1, but that guy, I walked right through him.
Exactly. TreSean, we have a question from one of our hosts out there. Ken Fry says, if you had a dream fight, who would you box? Pass. I know your idol, as you spoke about the Cuban fighter, but
who would I fight?
Yeah, who would you have a fight out there? You know what? If it's just TreSean, listen, man, boxing's going to end, some way it's going to end in the world. Last fight, you can pick one fighter you want to box. Who would it be, man?
Oof.
That's a hard one, I know.
Put you on the spot there.
I know.
I don't know.
I'm gonna pick you to fight Jake Paul just so I can watch you knock him out cold.
Man, them guys are unbelievable.
Yeah, what's your take on him? What's your take on him? Is he bad for the sport? Good for the sport? What do you think?
I mean, business wise, he's good because he's bringing viewers that wasn't into boxing are now boxing fans, which means that I'm saying their eye is on boxing. But I don't know, the way they went about it was all wrong. But I can't say him. He shouldn't fight nobody other than actual fighters. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
He's decent. He trains and he actually work hard. He don't play around. You know what I'm saying? So I give him that. His brother, he's a whole class act. I don't understand.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I took you away from that question. My apologies.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll say maybe. I don't know. I'll say maybe Spence, man. Maybe me and Spence can get a good fight going, man.
Wow. Okay. Now I know, TreSean, when you and I talked about it, you had a lot of respect for Crawford out there, the way he boxes. He's a fundamental fighter who can go both ways, southpaw versus regular stance.
Right.
Now, do you think that is, like a hybrid fighter that a lot of people, or he's like a 1 in a million hybrid that he can do that?
Right. That's the thing. These guys, some guys just like naturally righty, but just was always trained as young left-handed style. So he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like those guys, Crawford, Earl Spencer's a lion, but Crawford is a lion too, and he can switch at any point in time and fight the same way from both sides. That means there's two lions in there and against one.
How do you prepare for that? I mean, let's just say, because we know the time's going to come. It's going to be Wiggins versus, Crawford out there one day. We already know that. Right. But how do you prepare for a fight like this? Like you said, of course he's a lion out there, but how do you prepare for a fight where, he's 1 in a million hybrid fighter left and right?
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. You stick to what you know. Don't try to adjust to him. Don't try to adjust to that. They start bringing in all these southpaws and righties. I'll get the southpaw work, get the right hand to work, but don't change your style. Don't change you to try to adjust him. You stick to what you know, and make him come to you, and make him fight your fight. And as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, you know what I mean. I don't think I would have to worry about him switching because I don't fought righties before. I don't fought southpaws before.
Okay.
There's no reason for me to change nothing I can do. I stick to my gun,
It's funny we're talking about Spence and Crawford here. Do you think that fight actually happens? Yeah,
absolutely. It will, because they're the last ones with those belts other than stun owners have left, you know what I'm saying? So now I think Bob Arum, if I'm not mistaken, is about to have Crawford or does have Crawford. I don't know the whole details of that, but now it can happen. Long story short, you know what I mean? With Earl Spence being on PBC, not Bob Arum, Al Heyman, because with Earl Spence being with PBC and Crawford was being with Top Rank, it kind of made it hard to make it happen. But now I believe Crawford either by himself or he's with Al Heyman now or something like that. And I don't know.
Mm-hmm. How do you see that fight going? Or I know it's early still, predictions.
How do you see I got Crawford by decision, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got Crawford by decision. Earl Spence is a dog, man. I like everything about Spence, man. But Crawford is his. I don't know that, and he got that when he turned that little anger on, man. It's just like, here come that little bad kid from throwing rocks down the street. He turned that little anger mode on. It's like, here come bad bug. Here he comes.
Yeah. But let me go ahead, Joey. Go ahead. You go.
I'm just happy we're getting to see that fight. A couple years ago when Spence had that horrible accident, we didn't even think he might have lived through that. Now we're talking about finally getting to see the two top fighters in the world finally fight. When's the last time we actually get to say that, in the world of boxing?
It's been a while, man, because nobody want to fight nobody because everybody wants to be undefeated. Everybody want to keep their own.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, TreSean, speaking of, coming up fights here real quick, I know your fight hasn't been announced yet and we're still in the works for it, but who do we want out there, TreSean? Who's out there in the welterweight, above you, below you, or you got a beef with, or to get you to the top? Who we calling out right now? Who we looking at?
I'll tell you right now, I don't got no beef with nobody because nobody, you know what I'm saying?
Smart. They're smart.
Nobody wants to smoke.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I want to say I'm looking forward to fighting Gabriel Machiche or Conor Ben. You know, one of those guys, you know what I mean? Those guys in top 6 and top 5 or top 4. You know what I mean? One of those guys in the near future. And then, but like I said, whoever they call me for, I'm never gonna say no.
Gotcha.
You know,
I hear that, man. That's respect right there. Like, give TreSean the call out there because he's going to answer the call, and his answer is going to be when and where.
Right there it is. No question. No excuses about nothing. Let's go.
Yep. Joe, you got anything?
I don't. I'm just it's a breath of fresh air to see a fighter who doesn't care, you know what I mean? Like he wants to fight. His love for the game outweighs the record of the person he's fighting, you know what I mean? Like you just want to fight. You don't care if that person has 0 wins or if 100 wins. You just want to fight, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. I want to bring the excitement back to us, and then I want to get those fighters who got losses on the record hope. You know what I mean? Tevin Farmer, the one that actually kind of pumped that extra, you know what I'm saying, that urge to get back, to give it one more shot, because I'm like, yo, man, Tev, look at Tev, man. His record, he was similar to me, man. Same situation. And look, he turned his whole career around. He can do it, I can do it, man.
Exactly. You know? That's the words of the wise right there.
Yeah.
Now, Trisha, I know when I met you, you were saying that you were a sparring partner to one. I forgot who you said it was. Who were you a sparring partner for while they were getting ready for like a world championship fight?
Which one? Because
I know you mentioned a couple. What was that one you were talking about?
Danny Garcia when he was getting ready for Zab Judah. That was a title fight. I sparred with Sean Porter when he was getting ready for Earl Spence.
That's the one.
And I was sparring with Cal Velasquez when he fought Crawford. You know. So I mean, I was good. I've been around getting and not a world title fight, but I was just out there recently sparring with Clayton Castillo. Playing when he fought Jaron Ennis.
Wow.
So do they bring you in to mimic the person they're fighting?
Yeah, they called me for they called southpaw work, you know what I mean? And then once I get to either camp, they send the rest. You always get a bunch of southpaw, like 3 or 4 southpaws when they fight the southpaw guy. But once I get to camp, they send everybody home. Seriously, no joke.
Well, they know the champ is in the house, so they got the best of the best right there.
But I'm no longer doing that, though. You know what I'm saying? Now that I'm at that level where I'm at now I'm gonna have to bring the sparring in. I ain't going nowhere.
Exactly. We have a question out there, TreSean. Ken Fry, what's your favorite thing about boxing?
the walking out.
Wow. Okay.
The walking out. It's crazy because it's hard to explain, but that level of fear, hype, and excitement, like it's like it's a weird chill that I get. Like, just knowing that it's some my family's there, like my friends, that they're waiting. I'm about to go do the undoable, man. I'm about to go and try to achieve something that not everybody willing to do. You know what I'm saying? And that walk is just like, it's the longest, emotional walk. Like people don't understand. Like I even I'll be listening to that hard music, like get me into the zone, and then right before I go out, they call me out. I listen to Adele. She put me in my zone.
Oh, really?
Is there a go-to song for Adele you listen to, or?
That's not necessarily a go-to. I just like she just mellowed me out, calmed me down a little bit right before, because I don't want to go in there too riled up. So I go in mellowed out, and then when I go and I'm walking to the ring, I'm listening to my music. You know, they play my music. I'm listening to walking. They got the fans there, and then that announcement, man. Oh.
Well, what is your entrance song?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have a go-to entrance song?
I mix it up.
Okay.
I don't have just one specific like set themes though, but I mix it up a lot. You know what I mean? Whatever. I like whatever I've been listening to. You know what I'm saying? While I'm in training camp and I catch a song, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. You know?
Okay.
I'll come out with it. But now when you fight on TV, it's like certain things you're not allowed to copyright in situations. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of these fighters out there, they make a spectacle, but just for the spectacle. But I like what you said, because the truth came out right there. You know, like, listen, I can listen to the hardest song out there to get me, some hard rock, whatever, to get me in the mood. Right. But I need to calm down and listen to some Adele. You know, that's truth, facts right there.
Yeah, because like I want to be riled up, but it's like You know what I'm saying? Let me calm down. Make sure I know what I'm going. I know what I'm going into. You know what I'm saying? What I gotta go do. People look at me like I'm crazy because I walk in a locker room. I'm pacing back and forth. I'm talking to myself. You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep myself reminded, like, well, what I'm doing this for, man. You know, and it's a scary, exciting feeling, man. That adrenaline and some, like, I'd be having so much anxiety sometimes. Like, some people be talking to me right in my face, and I don't hear nothing they're talking about.
Oh, so that's why you avoided me at the sparring thing. I was talking to you. Now I'm just messing with you.
Seriously, man, I'll be like the anxiety because it's like it's so scary, son. It's like I'm about to go in there and put people die in there, man. Like it's
Yeah,
not
you're about to get punched in the face.
it's not a game, and then at the level now that I'm competing at, man, it's only gonna get realer. But I'm at where I'm at in my career in my life, man. I'm ready for it all. I'm ready to do a lot of big things, bro.
I hear you. Like Joey and I talk about it a lot. A lot of boxing out there's are casual watchers. We get a lot of people on the show, tuning in saying, "Oh, I don't respect this boxer." But Joey and I both believe, man, listen, you give your time and dedication, you pay your dues, you go out there every day, 24/7 as yourself, and you put everything you have out there to get in the ring and do a job. Man, we give respect to everybody. But
I respect every fighter, whether they got a losing record or winning record, man, because they don't know the path to getting in that ring, man. It's just I respect anybody that can climb in that ring, man, because that's a brutal thing, man. Boxing is brutal. It's brutal as hell. Brutal as hell. People like this old lady see me one day and she said, "Honey, I can't believe you're a boxer." I'm like, what about me don't look like a fighter? I mean, like, but like, why would
boxing
you
is
want to?
the wildest sport. It's the sweet science, but at the same time, you're watching dudes punch each other in the face. It's
Right.
like hard to explain.
That's what my wife was just saying the other day. She was like, "Yo, do you realize that people really just pay to come there and get drunk and watch you guys punch each other, and hurt each other, and you want to do it?"
yeah, it's funny we say that, like, all the pay-per-views, TreSean, you got to come over to the house one time and watch the pay-per-view. I got a 130-inch TV screen we could watch the fight on. But, it's funny that people pay $70. It's just you said, like, they have this big viewing thing where 10 or 15 people come over. They pay the $70, drink, and just to watch two people slug it out. And what they want to see is a knockout to where the dude can't even move anymore.
Right. They want to see somebody
a competitive
hurt.
fight. I want to see a competitive fight where
wild.
I see two OGs in the ring or two,
going at it.
Exactly. I want to see a good fight, I want to see a good fight. But before we get out of here, TreSean, let me ask you something. I know we talked about, we were wrapping that night of the Shakur Stevens fight.
Right.
He missed weight, man. He was stripped of his titles. How does that make you feel as being number 10 in the world? I know there's rumors he's going to move up. He's definitely moving up. But how does that make you feel sitting at number 10 where this dude's on top of the world? Shakur Stevens is on top of the world, 2 belts on his hand, possibly unbeatable, as many say out there. How does it make you feel he missed weight, man? How does it personally make you feel?
I mean, well, first off, hats off to Shakur because he's an extraordinary fighter, man. And I get it. I know what it's like, man, because I've been in that situation before trying to make weight. It's hard. It's not easy. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not easy. But he also know that he had all this time to get ready for this. He had a lot of. If you couldn't make it, you should have made sure that this was taken care of, not the night before the fight. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter what, I don't care how much weight I gotta drop, I'm gonna make it happen because that's just my job, man. I'm a professional, and you know what I'm saying. But I don't know his circumstances. I don't know what he was dealing with at the time. I don't know, you know what I mean. But health is first. So if it felt like he needed to come off of it, then so be it.
Joe, you got anything? Because I got another question to try.
Yeah, I have one question. I have one last question before you finish it out, Paul. You're talking about like scary weight cuts and stuff. I know you hear horror stories about some people like going into kidney failures and stuff like that because they just cut too much water weight too fast. Have you had any close calls or any scary encounters with weight cuts?
I mean, I had a hard time cutting weight one time, but I have never had like to where I was like almost hospitalized behind it. No.
Okay. Yeah, that was pretty much the last question. I know we talked about it before, TreSean, one-on-one. And has there any promoter that ever gave you the worst? What's the worst advice a trainer / promoter has ever given you on their benefit, not looking out for TreSean?
Well, without saying no names.
Yes, definitely.
I fought my fight on. I had a Showtime fight, and I had a hairline fracture You know, it was my Kofi. I was my first headline. You know what I'm saying, on Showtime at Showboxing. I had a hairline fracture, and I was supposed to try to postpone to pull out the fight, and I had counsel that advised me. They offered me more money. They offered, you can beat this guy with your eyes closed. Don't worry about it. And you know what I mean. I was like, I knew in my heart I shouldn't have done it, but you know, they had built me up to these couple days, to these couple fights. Excuse me, couple fights, and then I didn't want them to think, oh, now it's my first time headlining, and now I'm frozen. I'm catching cold feet. I didn't want them to think that it was an excuse or nothing like that. So, you know what I mean? I said, you know what? I know I can beat this guy because I knew I could. And I ended up taking the fight. I still fighting, and it ultimately cost me the fight. I mean, I lost a split decision. I even dropped him in, I think, in like the 4th round or 5th round. But once he realized that I was hurt, he kept coming on. And I couldn't even sit down in between rounds. It was so bad.
Wow.
So instead of them telling me to cancel the fight or postpone it, and you know what I'm saying, and move it to a later date, they advised me to take the fight still and we proceed with the fight when it shouldn't have. You know?
Well, needless to say, you're probably not with that promoter or trainer anymore. Am I hoping, right?
Yeah, no.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Joey, you have anything else for the champ here?
I don't. I just want to thank you again for, like I said, taking an hour out of your night. I know you got kids, you got school in the morning and stuff, but I appreciate it.
No, absolutely, man. It's been a pleasure, man. I've been looking for it for a while, and finally succeeded with it. And
definitely,
I'm sure we're gonna be seeing a lot of each other.
Yeah, we'll definitely get you back on the show when you have a fight locked down. We can go over the fight with you and talk about it.
I
think next week I'm going to try to get Brock on here so we can, talk about his October 8th showcase that he has as well. But TreSean, listen, man, I know, personally now, I got your number. We chat a lot, texting back and forth. I feel like I'm part of your family in some kind of way now.
Right, absolutely, man. We're in there.
Definitely. But, listen, man, and out of the box here, you're definitely part of our family. And all you got to say the word, anything you want to get out there off your chest, call out anybody, you're more than welcome to hop on the show anytime you want. Just hit me up. Anytime, TreSean. I appreciate you hopping on. It means the world to us, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
And before you get out of here, we go out of here. Is there anything you want to shout out? Give some shout outs to anybody in the family, the world out there. The floor is yours, TreSean. Go ahead, my brother.
I want to shout out Castle Boxing, man, because they all did best. My family. Shout out to 814. Shout out to NBNY. That's Newburgh, New York, my original hometown. Shout out my family, man, and look forward to us soon. Fight day coming soon.
Definitely.
Follow me on at that trigger.
Well, speaking of that, we're going to put it up there for you, Trey. How's that?
There you go. All right. And on Instagram at the Real Trigger.
Definitely, man. Listen, get this guy out there. He's the future champ of the world, 10th rank. Just like he said, he started out from the bottom. Now we're here. But only 9 more to go, and then we can actually say the champion of the world. But in my eyes, Trey, you're the champ of the 814, brother. I appreciate you hopping on here, man. And before we get out of here, we're going to give a word to our sponsors real quick, if that's okay. If you want to stay on for a couple seconds, Trey?
Absolutely.
All right. Here at Out of the Box Sports, we have a show on every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. You already know we're at Fight 1215 here. We got TreSean Wiggins, the 10th ranked boxer in the world welterweight division, out there on the show, blessing us with his presence. Tomorrow morning, Wednesday, 10 o'clock, we got Ken Fry in the Bat Cave talking New York Mets baseball. And tomorrow night, College Football Frenzy. For all you college football fans, we got you covered, 8 p.m. Also, right after, you're going to see myself again keeping it real with the Dallas Cowboys out there, the 215 boys, celebrating finally another win. Thursday night, we got Big Mike's 4th for 4 Locker Room podcast, talking all Philly sports out there. And on Friday night, we got the Big Blue Power Hour. Definitely check out to that show because he's going to have to he lost a bet with me about the Cowboys, so he's going to be having a special opening on that show. So stay tuned to that. Saturday morning, you got Joey Woods talking all wrestling, AEW, WWE with Dave Yarnell popping on there. And Saturday nights, excuse me, Vegas Sports Team with Ken Fry, Rob Hefner. They keep it real about all Vegas sports out there. And proudly to our sponsor, Jay Fine Law, a.k.a. Big Al. For all your personal injury needs, give them a call at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Let them know that Paul from Out of the Box or anyone from Out of the Box sent you. I guarantee you'll be on the family discount rate. So, boys, for myself, Joey Woods, and the champ in the house, TreSean Wiggins, we appreciate you checking in. Absolutely. Stay tuned next week, and we'll see you next week. So have a great week.